Many people don't know or won't believe that abortions are legal up to and including the 9th month of pregnancy. We went out and asked people, at what point in a pregnancy do you feel an abortion should no longer be performed? This is what they said.
After the first trimester, I think it's a little excessive. I believe a woman, A, has had enough time by then to decide whether or not what her options are, if she needs to have an abortion. And besides, after that, it's really too much of a baby.
From day one, I don't believe in abortion. I'm totally against it.
Well, right now I believe it's the first trimester that it's safe to have an abortion. And then after that, depending on an issue, obviously third trimester, I mean, it's a little late at that point.
I would say the closer you get to the birth date, whenever that would be, you shouldn't have an abortion, perform an abortion.
As soon as a child inside you can feel, I don't think that you should have an abortion.
Oh, I think after the first maybe 6 weeks, right in the beginning.
As expected, when they found out that abortions are legal up to the 9th month, this was their reaction.
I wasn't aware that she could up until the day of birth, and as pro-choice as I am, I'm very strongly pro-choice, but I think that that's very excessive. To do it up until the day of birth, that's murder. And I can't believe that I'm actually saying that, but that is the first time I've heard that sentence. And no, that's wrong. That is a baby. And if you're going to have it up until the day that it's born, why don't you just have it and put it up for adoption?
I feel like that's wrong to do that to an innocent baby. It's wrong for a person to take another person's life, because to me, that fetus is a human being.
I don't think that's right. I think that after a child can feel it, I don't think that you should abort.
I don't know what to say about that. That's pretty shocking.
Well, that's the law, and I feel it's a person's choice. And regarding medical issues, I abide by the law.
I think it's terrible. I think it's really, at that point, it's a human being.
We recognize that people have legitimate views based in science, based on morality, based on religion about when life begins. And they're entitled to their opinions. But religious and moral when life begins cannot be dictated by the government.
Well, I think it's not a question of opinion. I think it's a question of fact. And the reason the Catholic Church is so clear in the teaching of the Church that once the sperm and the egg have been united, you have the total chromosomal makeup of a human being. And that's a fact. That's indisputable.
I think as Americans, we know darn well that life begins at conception. When people call me, when my friends find out that they've been waiting for a child, and they finally find out they're pregnant, they might be 2 weeks pregnant, but they call me to say, we're having a baby. They don't say, we're carrying a fetus, we're having a baby. And even the language of allusion that's involved in calling it a fetus instead of a baby is interesting, because the word fetus in Latin means young one. Young what? Young baby.
Because the science is so clear, therefore the Church is not free to play around with science. The Church has to accept the truth of the data as it's given to us. So while some people might not want it to be a total human being in terms of its chromosomal makeup, the fact is it is.